I don't understand if you get paid off of that shit. Somebody explain to me how you can get 1 billion streams and not get $1 million. That don't make sense to me. Like, I don't know who's running the streaming industry, if you in here or not. You need to give us some information on how to track this money down. Because 1 + 1 ain't adding up to 2. And I have to say it, because that's the main gripe with a lot of us artists, is that we do major numbers with streams, but it don't add up to the money. Like, what is the money? When I first came out, my records would sell based off of physical. If you sold 1 million copies, that means it's $9.99, $9 million. You get this percentage, that's what it is. So if I sell how many streams, how much money do I get? It's not being translated, and it's not working for the artist right now, and I just want to speak to that.
Everybody's talking about streaming and how artists aren't making the money they used to make from album sales. And I understand the frustration. If you came up in an era where selling 1 million records can change your life, today's streaming numbers can feel a bit disrespectful. But I think we're looking at this from the wrong angle. The old industry wasn't built to benefit most artists. It was built to fit a small number of artists who fit what the industry wanted to promote. Record labels, radio stations, label execs, they acted as gatekeepers. They decided who got exposure, who got pushed, and what messages reached the public. For decades, some of the most heavily promoted music focused on violence, dysfunction, materialism, self-destruction. Why? Because controversy sells. Conflict sells. Rebellion sells. And the industry made billions packaging those messages and marketing them back to the community. The artists and the executives got rich.
Here's the truth. The truth is this. A bunch of young black male rappers keep dying. You know who's not dying? Record executives. The record executives that push for them to continue to make songs and create a culture that is obsessed with death, drugs, and sex. Period. The industry's obsessed with it, but those record executives, they're not dying because they don't push this culture on their own people.
Now that's where the conversation gets uncomfortable, because while artists were cashing checks and executives were building empires, the communities consuming the product were often left to deal with the consequences.
And being a crackhead wasn't cool. Now they seem like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup, and
it's the most dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing that's facing our society.
Why sign an artist that would promote that?
I already answered that question. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. It's opportunistic. I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
That may be the most honest answer anybody's ever given, because at the end of the day, the industry wasn't rewarding what was best for the community. It was rewarding what sold. And for a very long time, it sold extremely well. Now, streaming has changed the game. The same artists who benefited off the old system are feeling the effects of a job well done. A young artist can upload a song today and potentially reach millions without waiting on a radio station, a label exec, or an AR to decide whether they're worthy. Is the payout perfect? Streaming did something that the old industry didn't want to do, to give everybody an opportunity to participate. So when I hear artists complaining about streaming payouts, I understand the frustration, but I also remember an era where the industry was handing out millions to artists that were willing to promote messages that glorified violence, dysfunction, and self-destruction. Those artists weren't just making music, they were helping shape a culture. Now the culture has been shaped and the message has been spread. The influence has already reached multiple generations. And suddenly the industry that used to hand out millions are saying those artists aren't worth the same investment anymore. That's the part nobody thinks about. The industry made its money. The executives, the labels, the artists, they made their money. But many of the communities that consume the product are still dealing with the consequences. So before we start crying for the artists that don't make as much as they used to, maybe we should think about who paid the biggest price for all that money in the first place. It wasn't the record labels, it wasn't the executives, and it's not the streaming companies. It was the communities who bought the music, adapted the culture, and still trying to recover from the messages they were sold. That's a conversation I think we should be having.
yes. So